Hey, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blog. So let's get to it. I say I'm gonna take some time off, y'all.
All the cashiers, they was like, somebody stole her truck. It was like you could hear it all throughout the store.
This Rox coming to you today with a review for Love and Marriage Detroit, Love and Marriage Huntsville, our book 4, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let's get to it, shall we? Guys, first story up. I guess we're gonna do another Puffy update because the top of the blog extra that I posted yesterday, at that time we did not know if the judge was going to allow Puffy to go home yesterday or if they were going to keep him in jail. If you guys have been under a rock, then you don't know that Puffy was found not guilty on 3 of the 5 charges that were laid out against him. He basically was charged with transportation for prostitution of both Cassie and Jane Doe. And so while those are still very serious charges, not as serious as the racketeering and the sex trafficking charges, those charges, like I said, he was found not guilty. And so Puffy and his team and his family and his fans were all very happy to hear that he was not charged with those, that he was not found guilty for that. Later on yesterday, we did find out that the judge denied bail, and the judge said it was because these are still very serious charges. I mean, they're not as serious as the other ones, but he has still been found guilty for some pretty serious things. They don't carry as long of a sentence as those other ones do. So that's the only reason why people are saying, that this is a better thing that he was charged for anyway. The judge said no, he won't be able to get out of jail until sentencing. So maybe they may give him, already time served and let him out, or they may sentence him to, I think the maximum was 10 years on that charge. And at first, the way everybody was celebrating yesterday, and his family was like, he's coming home, Pops is coming home, thanks to everybody that supported, blah, blah, blah. At first, I thought the man was going home. I thought maybe the lawyers had already told the family that it means that if they find him not guilty, most likely he's going to be going home. I guess that's probably what they said, but the judge was like, he put the skirt on that real fast. And he was like, oh, no, he will not be getting out of jail right now. You're going to have to wait to see what happens at sentencing. So I am wondering if the judge, I kind of was feeling like if the judge denied bail, then maybe the judge did not necessarily agree with the verdict fully. Maybe the judge was feeling like people aren't taking even these charges seriously. And, he had to like make people aware that, no, we still ain't ignoring those other things. Okay, transportation for prostitution, we're not going to ignore it. So I kind of feel like maybe this might mean the judge might sentence him harder, might lean heavier on him because of that. I don't know. It's just me taking guesses. Y'all know I ain't no damn real rock star lawyer. What was more interesting yesterday was the responses from social media and what people thought. And this whole case has been really a downer for the black community, child. I tell you. When I sit and watch the way people have... Listen, I understand that people still like Puffy. He maybe feel like he made a mistake. And everybody deserves second chances. Or, maybe you throwing the rock and hiding your hand. Maybe you have these... I get all of that kind of thing. What I don't understand is how people can really, truly ignore all of the bad that Puffy was doing and write it off as him being freaky. I just don't understand. Freakiness and beating motherfuckers' asses and terrorizing folks and drugging, making sure folks got drugs all the time to do what you want them to do, and, terrifying folks and manipulating folks and acting like you love folks when you don't, and treating people. I just don't, nobody thinks about any of that stuff that came out. you know, everybody is just willing to say, oh, he was just freaky and they wanted to do it and everything. It's like, no, I want people to really understand that you're supporting a person who, if there's no kind of like repercussions to the things that they do, then they just continue to do those things over and over and over again. I feel like they've created a monster, you know. It's going to really depend on whether or not he gets sentenced for a long time when that sentencing happens, you know. I kept on saying, you know, Puffy, when he gets out, maybe he'll be a changed person. But everybody that I talked to seemed to think differently. You know, everybody was just like, no, Roxanne, he's going to get out and he's going to be, you know, he's going to be right back to himself, maybe even more empowered because he might be feeling like he's invincible. But I don't feel like this is still an invincible kind of result. You know, he still has hanging over his head 10 years maximum. And these are charges that could be running consecutively or concurrently, you know. So we still not quite out the water, you know, and Puffy can't really celebrate 100% now. But again, it is still a big loss for the prosecution, child. It's a big loss for the prosecution. It's just, that is just what it is. So I don't know. I've just been really disappointed in seeing a lot of people, their reactions to it. What's interesting is there's a lot of celebrities that are coming out for him now, speaking out for him now, but none of them spoke out. None of them spoke out, with the exception of, I mean, I guess you could say Ray J, the nigga, you know, Ray J, was he supporting or was Ray J just trying to do what Ray J does? You know, I think Tyrese spoke out about him. We've had a couple of people, but not the plethora of folks now who are speaking out. And that even concerns me too. Like some people that I really like. When I saw that Tiny said what she said, I was just like, wow, Tiny, really? Is that how you feel? As a woman, what he did to them people, is that really how you feel? Like, should we really be believing that what Sabrina and them said? You know, it's always been rumored that when I just was so disappointed she said that. I was just like, damn, Tiny, you could have just not said nothing. I know that everybody has their feelings. Not everybody thinks that Puffy, you know, is a bad person or did, you know, or maybe people forgive him or whatever that is. And that's fine if that's how you feel. But to actually say that, it's like a slap in the face to the victim, child. I'm going to get off of it. Because what else is there to say? You know? What else is there to say? It's, when we get the when we get to sentencing and, you know, we'll pick back up and we'll figure it out then, child. We'll talk about it. We'll break it all down and all that. But yesterday, that cooning out in front of that damn courthouse with the baby oil. Oh my God, so embarrassing. I just was like, what? So fucking embarrassing, you guys. It's just, I'm gonna move on. But what I will say is this. The same way that the people, black people, in particular, I'm just talking about our community right now. The same way that our community are still rallying around Puffy, I still feel like that's just because we as black people feel like we got to stick together. We got to hold on, you know. And so remember when O.J. Simpson was found not guilty and how happy we were and how excited we were and how much we taught, you know, we jumped up and down and we celebrated and all that. How did everybody feel about O.J. Simpson when he died? I can pretty much tell you that most black people will say, yeah, he probably did kill Nicole Simpson. Okay? Like, we got around to that. But at the time when everything was going on, we didn't believe that OJ had anything to do with it, you know? Or maybe we did, but we felt like we needed to still support and maybe act like we didn't think. Whatever the case, I feel like it might be the same situation with Puffy. While everybody is rallying around him, but when the shit calmed down, everybody dies down, and we sit back in a few years and talk about it, it'd be like, yeah, that puppy probably should have took his ass to jail. Probably should have went to jail for the shit he was doing. But anyway, you guys, that verdict yesterday still was quite disturbing for me. But I'm not going to get too excited until we see what happens at the sentencing. Okay? Next story. All right, you guys, a whole bunch of shit about Real Housewives of Atlanta. Fuck. It's always something. Now, first of all, It's just amazing to me how all these ladies from Real Housewives of Atlanta now has their own YouTube shows. I remember at one time they had problems with us YouTubers that were reviewing their shows. They didn't have any respect for the YouTubers that were reviewing their shows. You know, they thought of us as minions, you know, but now everybody wants to be a fucking YouTuber. Okay, we got Kenya, she got her show. We got Portia got her show. You know, Nene does her show. And everybody wants to be able to say things, breaking the fourth wall and all that, and they create these YouTube channels. I still feel like Bravo should not allow that. But you know what? Kenya's not working for Bravo now. Nene's not working for Bravo now, so they can do whatever the fuck they want. But even Portia, I think, has something that she whipped up and does as well. But let's talk about Kenya, who was this shit is about to die. Hold on one second. Well, let me finish this story. Let's talk about Kenya, who was at her salon. Apparently that's where she films her YouTube show. And she was talking about, I don't know what she was talking about because I only saw this one clip. But in this one clip that's going around, she's talking about what was the draw, what made people watch Real Housewives of Atlanta when she was on, you know, who were the popular people on the show at the time. And she said, you know, that she needed to recognize that Peter Thomas, being Cynthia's husband, he was the draw. He was the more interesting person. People weren't tuning in to see Cynthia's story. They really was tuning in to see Peter, because Peter was unfiltered and Peter was, you know, he loved the spotlight. He was good content. He was good, you know, TV. And Peter knew that and everybody else knew that. So yeah, but nobody was checking for Cynthia. Nobody really cared about what Cynthia did, you know. It was more for Peter. And so I was watching that and I was like, well, that's true. I mean, you know, you can't deny that the only reason why Cynthia was really known, Cynthia's storylines all involved other people. You know, her marriage with Peter, her relationship or friendship with Nene, her relationship, her friendship with Kenya. Okay, we even cared more about Cynthia's sister when she was on the fucking show, when she wasn't even a housewife, but you know, she was on there. She had her husband, they was having a baby, she had her business. Like, all of that stuff is the stuff that we remembered about Cynthia. But I don't know if I can think of really any. I'm sure that Cynthia did have like something. I mean, of course, but I mean, that still was wrapped around Nene. When I talk about like her fight with Nene and all of that stuff that happened, her divorce from Peter, it's nothing that was just Cynthia centric. Okay, like only Cynthia, her story, you know. So I understood what Kenya was saying, and it was true. Okay, but my problem with that is, when you have a friend, sometimes shit can be true, but you don't have to say it. Like, this is your friend. That's kind of fucked up to say about your friend. Like, girl, nobody care about you. People wasn't tuning in to see you. It's the truth, but you did not have to say that. You know, certain things you just, I don't think that is conducive to being a good friend. So, Cynthia hasn't responded. I don't think Cynthia will. If she does, she won't respond directly, and she won't respond immediately. You know, we'll see her say something in the future about it or something, but I don't see Cynthia responding to that, because partially it's true, but also because maybe it's like, well, damn, you know. And what is Cynthia supposed to say? Oh yeah, I did have a story because I did this, and you know, like, nobody about to get up there and be fighting for themselves to tell you what they did on the show and what they contributed to a show, you know. What I will say though is Cynthia's on the damn show and Kenya ain't. So what does that mean? Okay. Yeah, that was kind of fucked up when I saw that, but it was the truth. But, you know, I hated that she said that. Also about Real Housewives, let's talk about this damn Marcus. This is the pillow. Side note. This is the pillow that's going to go in mahogany. I did end up buying it, but I haven't taken it out the car because, you know, it's just most shit in the house. It's just stuff in the car that's going to go to mahogany probably tomorrow. So that's why I'm leaning against it. It actually feels pretty good. Y'all stop looking at my bra. But anyway, this Marcus guy. Now, I told you guys when Marcus was on that show, the finale, and he sat up there and said that Phaedra was the godfather of Atlanta, and what Phaedra says goes. And I was like, this nigga is lying. Okay, I know people don't like Phaedra. Phaedra's not my favorite. But we're not gonna just be pinning motherfuckers to the wall for shit that they didn't do, you know. And I know Phaedra, I just cannot think that Phaedra would do, I just could not think that Phaedra would do something so stupid. So I never believed it, but I know people just ran with it, okay? Now, Mr. Marcus is saying that Phaedra was not the person who hired him to come and say that Charles was cheating on him. Now he's turned it around on Angela and said that actually it's Angela who staged this whole coup and tried to make it seem like it was Phaedra. So now he's trying to say that Angela is coming for Phaedra. I don't think that that's true either. I mean, it would be very stupid if Angela did do that, you know, because while Phaedra was coming for, you know, while Phaedra did have some shady shit, and some people can say that, you know, maybe some people did look at that as Phaedra coming for Angela. Angela did not need to be entertaining Phaedra. Angela did not need to be entertaining Phaedra and the little slick little things that she was saying over there. You know, so I'm hoping that she did not get herself involved. I don't believe that she's involved in it either. I really believe that this man has 15 minutes of fame, feelings. He wants to be a celebrity. He wanted to be on the show. He got that chance. And now he's got everybody's attention. So now he's just flipping this story all over the place. And I don't believe it. I definitely don't believe it was Phaedra. I'm going to pray that it wasn't Angela because, and I hate that the season ended like that. She had a good season, the whole fucking 16 episodes. Did I spit some food out? I'm sorry, because I just had Chipotle. I ate before I did my video, which I never usually do because it makes me sleepy, but you know, the itis. But anyway, it would be stupid. I hate that it ended the way it did. It was just a weird ending, and I just, you know, it was just stupid. And why was we concentrating on this man? You know, so I don't believe it, you guys. But I know people still believe that it's Phaedra. I don't know. I definitely don't think it's Phaedra. And I'm going to hope, like I said, it's not Angela. And then also, while we talking about Real Housewives of Atlanta, Kelli, they say has been sued by the credit card. Was it Amex? I think it was American Express. She had her bills like $36,000, and they said that she hadn't been paying it, so they are suing. And if you guys got a quick story time, you got time for a story time, let me just tell you that Amex will definitely sue you. And I know that because back in 2010, when a bitch was really struggling out there, ain't had no money and whatnots, you know, Costco, back in like 2007, 2008, Costco had approved an American Express for me and Mr. Well, it was me. We don't have credit together. It was for me. But we was both broke. Okay, we was trying to make it happen, you know? And so I had an American Express. I had charged it up, and I couldn't afford to pay it. And so I had stopped paying it. And American Express was just like, hell, fuck nah, bitch, you gonna pay this, all right? So one morning, we actually lived here in Atlanta. At about 4:30, 4:45 in the morning, Mr. was a truck driver at the time, so he wasn't even home. It was just me and the kids, and somebody was banging on the door. Boom, 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 boom. And bitch, I must have jumped up like, what the fuck is that? You know, the kids was terrified. I was terrified. I'm up here peeking out the windows trying to see who it was. And bitch, it was a sheriff. Okay? And so I opened the door thinking that they was going to come tell me that something happened to Mister. And the man was like, there's a warrant for your, you know, this is a, not a warrant, but he was serving me the papers, right? And I was like, oh my God. And so I opened it up, and sure enough, American Express was suing me. Now, it was only like $3,600. But back then, $3,600 was like $50,000. Okay, bitch didn't have it. I was terrified. I didn't know what I was going to do. I could not bring myself around to asking my dad to help, because I feel like maybe my dad had probably just helped me do something else. Okay. And so I just was like, what am I going to do? Talked to some people. They were like, maybe you might need to file bankruptcy. Okay, so that's what I did. I filed bankruptcy, and turned out to be the best thing that I ever did. And now my credit is great. But that story, and now my credit is great. a bitch can afford stuff now. But that story is that, yeah, that shit happens. You know, people, you get dealt a hand that you was not prepared for, and shit happens, you know. So Kelli is going through a divorce, and we already know what's been going on with her and her husband, and him being in jail and him not paying, and them trying to open this restaurant and it getting held up, and she's probably spending money left and right trying to get this thing done, and it's just not happening. So I am going to give Kelli a pass, okay? Yes, it's fucked up that she hasn't paid her American Express bill and all that, but I personally know that shit happens, and you just got to do what you got to do to correct everything and be back on your good foot. So I'm hoping that that's what Kelli is doing over there. But I mean, I understand. I understand how shit can be. But you got to take care of your responsibilities. When people give you credit, you got to pay it. Okay? And if you can't pay it, I don't know if I would advise everybody to do bankruptcy, but you know, if you sit down with somebody that can explain to you what's going to be best for you and your family financially, you know, you should do it. Even when the shit seems insurmountable or something that just seems really, really big, you know, if you just really put your mind to it, try to work it out, it's going to be all right. So yeah, I ain't going to be too hard on Kelli, because shit is rough. A divorce ain't no fun. We saw that she was struggling and everything. Now, Kelli, I am noticing is becoming a little bit, I'm wondering what her position is going to be on the show. Like, is she going to make it back to the show next season? I thought that she was a shoo-in at first, but I also start to feel like there's some people that might have liked Kelli at first that maybe don't like her as much now. I've noticed that there has been a shift in the support of Kelli a little bit. Not major, but there's something there. So now I'm kind of wondering if she even is going to be on the show, only because she kind of attached to this whole Britney thing, and maybe they want to just start over and just clear out the cast again, which was what they were supposed to be doing this time, but maybe they might need to clear it all out again and just start it new and don't deal with Kelli and Brit, you know. But I have noticed that people are starting to not really feel Kelli too much. And I don't know why. Is it because people feel like she kind of jumped ship off of Brit? Even if you don't like Brit, I mean, but if that's your friend, if that's your homegirl, if that's supposed to be your bestie and everything, bitch, you ride the wheels till they fall off. Okay? You come up with something and say some shit like, yeah, she kind of, you know, she my bestie. I've been knowing her for a long time. I know how she is, you know, and I know she can rub people the wrong way, but that's still my girl. Instead of just being like, oh, you know, like Angela said in that Carlos interview, she saw the writing on the wall. She saw that people was not feeling Brit, and she had to jump off the ship. And you know, some people don't like that. They feel like you're not being loyal to your friendship. So maybe that has a child. Was that sweat? I'm sitting here looking at, you guys like my new glasses? I got these from Zlul, and I tried to get them without the reflection. It's a little better, because I see, you can see my wrinkles under my eyes. It is a little bit better, but I still can see a reflection, but it's a little bit better. I love these glasses though, you guys. I had like a small little obsession I was going through around Father's Day. I ordered like 6 or 7 pair of readers from all these different glass places, and these are like one of my favorites. I absolutely love them. Anyway, that's that on Real Housewives of Atlanta, child. I swear that one show will give you content for the whole fucking year. The whole year. Yeah, so it's a reason to talk about that show all the damn time. Okay? So anyway, y'all, let me move on from there. All right, you guys, so there was a shooting in Chicago. I actually had to text Ashley this morning because I knew that Ashley was not at no damn lounge in the middle of the night on a, you know, Wednesday night, and with all that. I knew that she wasn't out there, but it was like bothering my conscience. Like I had to call and text just to see for sure that Ashley was gonna be okay, you know. And she did text me back and was just like, yeah, she had just heard about it, but no, she's all right. So that was good to know. But yeah, you guys, real sad situation. There was a shooting in Chicago. There was a lounge named Artist Lounge, and they were, I think, having an album release party for Mellow Bucks. And they said around somewhere between 11 and midnight, you know, people were leaving out of the venue and standing around kind of out in front of the venue. And they said a black SUV pulled up with multiple shooters in there and just opened fired on everybody. Ended up shooting 18 people, killed 4 people, 2 women and 2 men who died at local hospitals like in the area. But 14 other people were shot. They said that 2 of them are in serious condition and 2 of them are in critical condition in the hospital. So these are pretty good, you know, injuries. Like, these people have been shot. They didn't even find the fucking shooters. All these people killed. You know, those 4 that are in serious and critical condition could still lose their lives. You know, they're still not out of the woods yet. And just terrible. Now, I don't know if the person or the people that was in the fucking SUV had a problem with mellow bucks or what, but why you have to shoot everybody up? You know? It's just senseless. So you got people that, you know, thought they was going out for a night to have a drink and a dance and, you know, maybe sit around and talk, and now you got a whole bunch of people dead and shot and injured, and that's just a damn shame, you guys. I haven't been hearing much about Chicago. I was thinking that maybe the crime had started to get better out there, because you don't hear much about Chicago anymore. Is that the case? Like, is it still, the crime still real bad in certain areas of I mean, crime is bad everywhere. But you know, there was a time when they used to just be like, Chicago was like, I remember they used to call it Chirac and all of that. Like, when we went to Chicago, it was beautiful. But of course, we were downtown, but I was like, I could live here. That's how nice it was. We went there in March and the weather was beautiful and the water, and, you know, just looking at how beautiful the architecture and the engineering around, and I mean, we were amazed. I really felt like I could have lived there, but people were like, nah, Roxanne, wait. But it was windy as fuck. It was cold. Oh my God. I ain't never been so fucking cold from wind. I mean, I was hiding behind buildings and shit. We would step out around the corners. I mean, that wind about killed us, but I did love it there. But yeah, I hate to hear that. But glad to know that Ashley is good, because that's my girl. All right. But yeah, prayers up for the rest of the people that were hurt. Prayers up for those that were killed, their families now having to deal with, you know, not having their loved ones anymore. So hopefully they catch those people that, you know, shot them and throw their ass in jail. All right, you guys, that is it. I am going to get on off of here. We do this every single week, so make sure you thumbs up the video, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you come back. Until next time, rock stars. Bye.